hospital.
Right now, I have to stop saying.
We have the protective helmet headgear on standby.
I didn't even see it.
We let him take it off and the bubble wrap, but that doesn't mean that we're not ready to step in and make sure our Sam is healthy for Game 82 on Wednesday night. This is the DLLS Stars Post Game Show. Let's get it started.
Get it ready, boys.
This is the DLLS Stars Post Game Show after the Stars losing streak hits 3, the winless streak hits 6, and everything is going wrong. Alongside Craig and Sam, I'm Owen. He's John. Smash that like button. Like and subscribe here on the DLLS podcast on our YouTube page. It's right under the big video. Hit that thumbs up. We very much appreciate it. It helps us out. Speaking of DLLS, we have a new offer. Because the NFL draft is on its way, it's approaching rapidly. New DLS diehard memberships for the next 36 hours only. Just $36. Think about it. All the access of being a diehard, including the diehard Discord, which we have a blast doing. And of course, you get a free t-shirt for signing up. Why wouldn't you do that? Plus all the other perks of being a diehard. It's really a wonderful thing. Lud's got his DLS membership card the other day.
I saw.
And he is cherishing that acquisition.
Beauty. Looks like American
We haven't
Express.
figured out what we can do with it, but we have it.
We have them.
Groceries.
We
Get
have them
groceries
now.
with it.
Sign up today.
Yeah.
Use that QR code. We'll talk
Can I
more
get a
about it
Bud
later.
Light
But a
with it?
special NFL Draft Day version of the introductory diehard discount offer. All right. 6 in a row. First time ever under Pete DeBoer, they lose 3 regulation games in a row. They've been claiming, even in the other times where the team had hit the skids, Luds, they had always said Pete had never lost 3 straight in regulation. Well, they can't make that claim anymore because they now have Winnipeg, Utah, and Detroit.
The message seems to be we just want to get to the playoffs. But I don't think you want to limp into the playoffs. And, again, they mean nothing as far as the standings go, who you're going to play, but you have to feel good about yourself. And so there's a game to go against a team. Well, I could say the same thing tonight.
You expect anything different though?
No, it's like you can't just turn I don't care about the game so much switch on and off all the time. And I don't think you want to be taking some of these habits that are coming out of these games and say, okay, we're done with that. And just flip the switch and say Colorado's going to be, we'll get through Colorado. I mean, I'm concerned for those guys. And again, I hope they flip it. And even if they have a great game against Nashville, it's 1 out of 7 or 8 or 6 or 7. That's my concern.
Sam, the Stars fandom is going from we aren't playing well, we're winning 7 in a row, 10-game point streak, to okay, it's finally catching up to us, to well, they were the best team in the league, to well, they're going to miss the playoffs. Well, these guys are going to miss it. Is it fair for the folks watching tonight to be freaking out about the Stars' playoff hopes? Or is this a team that believes they can actually flip the switch?
They seem to believe it. I will say that. I said it in the pregame show or at some point that Pete DeBoer even has said recently, I wish the playoffs just started today, or we just need to get through these next couple games. And I truly understand that feeling. It's a long season. They've been through a lot. They just want to get to the playoffs. They want Tyler Seguin back. But you also, as Lud's just said, you just don't flip the switch very often. It very rarely happens. And when your head coach is the one saying we just need to get through it, and I hope the playoffs just
It's the message.
you're going to take it. I took it to heart, and so I'll say this: I wrote about it this morning. I don't know what the playoffs are going to be, but what I do think, the way the Stars have been playing, the emotionless type of games we've seen a little bit here and there, the defensive coverage, the real true issues we've seen basically since Miro went out, but more consistently since the trade deadline, have made this from a point where I believe the Stars would go in, and even if they didn't play their best hockey, they win the series because they're deeper, their goaltending's better. Now I truly feel this playoff series against Colorado is a 50-50 flip that either team could win in 6 or 7 games. And that, I think, is a real concern for fans.
Yeah, and if you wish the playoffs started today, you'd be down 1-0.
Yeah. Well, they lose game 1 every year anyway, right? So
I don't suggest that's a good way to start round 1 off.
7 in a row.
I don't think you want to give that team that you're going to play in the first round any confidence if you have anything to
Especially
say.
when it's on home ice.
Do you think Colorado needs that, though? I don't think they need a bulletin board piece. I don't think they need an extra reason to believe against Dallas. I think they're a good team. I think Dallas is a good team. Does it really? Are you really that concerned about giving them extra material?
You don't want to give them anything, but any little tidbit you give them gives them a little bit more hope, you know. And you're saying, you know what? Let's have a great 5-10 minutes of the first game. Let's come into their building. Let's keep their fans sitting on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's what our goal. That's what any goal is when you're playing on the road, anyways. And then let's build the momentum and let's get rolling. I'm telling you, regardless of these games meaning or nothing or not, and Dallas doing the same thing. Not that Colorado's playing more games, but they're taking notes. They're watching all these games. They're breaking these games down. They're seeing which guys play a certain way, which guys are a little loose in these certain areas of the ice. Here's where they try to make the little extra pass when you get across the offensive blue line. They're assessing all of these, and they're putting a game plan together.
I've always been of the feeling that this is a good team that just has lost its way a bit. That I still think they can find it. I also don't think that people should be as nervous and panicky as they are, but I understand why you're feeling that way. Why should you have confidence in the group the way they've played the last month? But I also think that full strength lineup, playoff hockey, they can do. I mean, they did it for 40 minutes against Winnipeg. I know it's not 60 minutes. I understand that. But they can play with teams like that. They're a really good team as far as their record goes, and that's not a mistake. So, Sam, that's the big thing. I think everybody keeps saying, well, yeah, okay, they're third in the league in points, but they're not playing very well. True, but they didn't get to third in the league with all these injuries with Seguin and Heiskanen and Marchment missed time. Dumba missed a bunch of time.
Yep.
Without being a very good team. But as Lud said in the pregame show, it doesn't matter how good you were against regular season opponents. And that means regular season style of play. If you can't win in playoff style hockey, it won't matter.
Yeah, 100%. And I said it during the third period when everything went to hell. This team has had nowhere near an easy season. They have had peaks and valleys every which way. We were talking about them, well, not necessarily us, but fans and other people were talking about how bad they were in the beginning of the year, right? Robertson wasn't scoring. Hintz wasn't scoring. Power play was awful. Then all of a sudden, all of that turned around, and Hintz and Robertson were two of the best players in the NHL. The power play was lethal. The penalty kill was still dominant. They were winning all these games. We were like, this is the Dallas Stars team we expected to see. And then they hit the opposite a little bit. Then they were good. And then they were, like you said, winning but not playing very well. Now they are losing and not playing very well. I just don't really know how to take it, and I'm with you. It's a good team. This team didn't just lose all of their skill and confidence overnight. But right now they don't have it, and they don't put it out on the ice for 60 minutes. And I just saw a stat from the postgame show that I just sent you guys. They've given up 20 goals in third period and overtime over the 6-game losing streak. 20 goals.
I think it's like 28 goals
bad.
they've given up in the last 5 games. Like,
yeah,
am I right?
I think they're outscored on the losing streak. Something pretty lofty.
Like, again, habits are what you repeatedly do. Right now, they're repeatedly giving up quality scoring chances. Right now, your goaltenders aren't making the saves that they did in the first 2/3, 3/4 of the season. So I know you just want to get through it and get the playoffs started. But again, I mean, let's hope. I mean, I look at a couple goals against with, our number one guy. I mean, he doesn't look sharp. I'm not saying he's bad, but I mean, I know what's going on in front of him isn't the best. But all right, if you think, and the other thing is, if Miro comes back in game one and Tyler comes back in game one.
Well, Miro's not coming back in game one.
I know that. But listen, if he comes back and if Tyler comes back, they're not going to be the same guys that played 45 games straight when they were healthy. It doesn't work like that. And it may not, Sam said in the pregame show, it may not affect him in game one. Maybe not even game two, but it's going to affect him at some point in the playoffs because you don't just come back from double hip surgery and a blown out knee or whatever it was for Miro. You're going to have some soreness and some tiredness, and you're going to be a little bit weak. And we expect Miro to be on the ice for 25, 26 minutes a night against McKinnon, Makar, Val Nichushkin, and all this other kind of stuff. So, and my point is you need those other guys surrounding Miro when he gets back to be playing better. Not happening right now.
Yep.
The comments in the chat. We're piling up some super chats.
I agree with
I'm just going through my mentions.
I agree with
first.
every one of them.
Well, you're looking at Twitter. I'm looking at our chat in our broadcast here, and there's a lot of negativity.
I haven't looked at one of them, but I agree with them.
Every single one. You think the
I don't
Stars,
know what they say.
The most likely scenario is the Stars are going to get swept in the first round.
They're not going to get swept.
No, they're not going to get
That's
swept.
what I mean.
Okay, I don't agree with everyone.
Yes, exactly.
Not going to get swept.
There you go. Blanket statements of affirmation are probably not needed there.
Yeah, that might happen though. The way they're playing. I mean, my God, look at what you're giving up.
They got to win at least one game on home ice.
It's not. And again, I don't want to get nailed down on the goals that they're giving up. It's how they're giving up chances and the ones that aren't going in the net where your goaltenders are making good saves. Again, it's go ahead, flip the switch.
They profess all year that they have strong leadership. Can strong veteran leadership flip a switch?
It's not the leadership isn't the issue for me right now. It's positioning and making the right plays. And so if leadership means that those guys have to execute on those kind of things so that you're doing, do what you say kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay. And again, if you can do that's great. Hopefully this is a good mental break for them and it doesn't bother them when they leave the game going, don't worry about it. I don't know how any players can go through what they've gone through and go, we're okay. Don't worry about it. We're okay.
Do you think that there's anything lingering in the confidence of this group because of this 6-game winless streak now?
Well, you know that they're going to go into the playoffs and go, listen, we know we're not the team that in those last 10 games, that's not who we are. This is who we are. And that's what you should do. But, now what you have to do is you have to prove it to each other.
I mean, I think that right now the team is echoing what Pete's saying. Guys, we went out to play. It's a preseason game. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
We're not putting any stock into this. But on Wednesday, I think we're going to see Tyler Seguin, which means they can't sit Harley and Lindell.
You should see Lindell, Seguin.
I think you're going to see
and
everyone.
Harley.
And Marchman as well, because remember, Marchman's missed the last 2 games.
I mean, at this point, you have
all
to,
4
right?
of those guys are in. We'll talk with Sean in a little bit because Sean is in Detroit. I think after a game like this, Jake Ottinger has to play on Wednesday. Because to me, the end of this game, it wasn't all on Jake. But I don't look at Jake's performance tonight and say, wow, he's dialed in. He's good. He doesn't need another game.
Yeah.
I think he needs another game. Now, I heard this. Sean actually brought this up to Pete DeBoer this afternoon when they did their media availability about possibly having Jake start the game and then after a period or two, have Casey DeSmith come in just so he gets that work, maybe feels the sharpness. And Pete said, right now, everything's on the table. Obviously, that's the deferred answer. He doesn't want to show his hand or just say we haven't made that decision. But he said it's it's a honest conversation we have to have with Jeff Reese, who's the Stars head goalie coach, to see what Jake needs. They need to get Jake as best they can ready for game 1 against Colorado, which we think will be this coming weekend.
Here's what you do. You say you can flip the switch, or you believe you can flip the switch. Flip it on Wednesday. There's game 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wednesday's game 1.
I love that.
You play with every guy that's going to be in the lineup come game 1 against Colorado. I understand if Tyler's not there,
There's a chance he might not.
But if you guys can flip the script and you can take the switch and just flip it, well, then you go into game 1. You're going to play possibly 8 games in the first round. You're going to go into game 1, and it starts against Nashville. And let's beat them. We don't have to beat them by 5 or 6 goals, but we're not going to get outshot again. We're not going to give – they almost gave up 40 shots again tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to give up 26, 27, 28. We're going to dominate all 3 zones. We're not giving them any outnumbered rushes. We're going to get pucks to the net. We're going to score a couple goals on the power play. We're going to make it hard on Marchessault. We're going to make it hard on Stamkos. We're going to make it hard on Forsberg. Take their top 3 guys on the opposing team and pretend it's McKinnon, Nichushkin, and Makar. And let's see you do that against Nashville.
A lot more to get to here on the DLLS Stars Post Game Show. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get to your Super Chats. All that and more coming up right here on DLLS.
Now that I'm rattled and shaking, just like your favorite team needs a home ice advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help. Empire Today has dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they're with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ballgame. Get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DLLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS. Yep, that's right. $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today for full results.
Thanks, Luds. Let's talk about Own Well. You know, owning property comes with plenty of challenges. Just ask Luds about what he has to do with landscaping. But overpaying on property taxes shouldn't be one of your issues. Did you know you can fight your property taxes and save thousands of dollars every year? Well, you need Own Well. How easy is it to sign up? Well, it takes 3 minutes at most to sign up. Only requires a few details. You can get an instant estimate of your tax savings, and you would love how not only they save you money, but they do all the work for you. Own Well handles everything from start to finish, delivering top results, no upfront costs, only pay if you save. 86% of Own Well's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of $1,102. Hundreds of thousands of happy customers and 5-star reviews. And of course, the deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties in Texas. Save money on your property taxes with Own Well. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. That's OWNWELL.com/DLLS. Okay. So let me ask you a follow-up question of what we were just discussing before the break, which was getting your game going against Nashville to go into the playoffs. What happens if the Stars don't do that? What if they decide Tyler's not going to play because we would rather rest Essa and Harley and not have them subjected to a risk of injury, and we're just going to trot out that same group, whether Jake or Casey plays in goal, besides the question. Are you worried that, and this is for both of you, so Sam, feel free to pipe right in. Are you worried? Oh, I know you were. I'm just encouraging you to speak.
Yes.
Squirrel!
Perfect. We haven't used that for a while lately. So are you worried that if that's the case, you might be playing catch-up trying to get to that level in Game 1 against the Avalanche?
Yes. I think, at this point, to be honest, I'm worried about that regardless. I think Pete, the reason I was looking is Pete said he's going to play a full lineup on Wednesday.
Okay.
Meaning everyone.
So then my question is, doesn't matter if
available.
that's what he's going to do.
Everyone who's available. Doesn't mean Tyler Seguin necessarily, but everyone who's available. So that should mean what we just said, Mason, Essa. But
Harley.
The team feels like it's going to be playing catch up. And that's a problem, especially because I don't know if it's better. Maybe it'd be better if this team had Colorado's schedule and they had 5 days of practice to get ready. I don't know. But it doesn't feel to me like no matter who plays, even if Tyler Seguin's in and everyone's here, doesn't feel like, regardless of how they play, that's going to translate to a just fully confident, flowing swagger team in game one come Saturday.
Yeah, I seem to recall a couple games ago in one of Pete's pressers, I don't know if it was morning of or after a game, that we just want to get to the playoffs. We wish we didn't have to play these couple of games, but we know that there's a couple of things that we have to work on. We got to tighten it up. We got to shore it up. I think you still have a couple of things that you need to tighten and shore up. Yeah. So obviously the last 3 or 4 days with a couple of games in between, it hasn't been tightened and shored up. So unless you think you can shore it up in 48 hours, again, good.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Loads. They've lost these games, right? And points aside, how many times did I look at you today and say that pass cannot get through, or that should be stopped, or that these are not mistakes by, it's one mistake by a Petrovic or a Bichsel, understandable. But when you see guys like Dadonov or Duchesne or guys that should be in a spot that they've been playing for either multiple seasons or at least 80 games, doesn't that worry you? Regardless of the lineup?
It does, and I think I would do a reverse just because of how this last 3 weeks have played out, 2 weeks, whatever it may be, to where when you're going into the playoffs, you do more looking at your opponents, making sure you understand what they're doing, and then you want to get your game in order, right? And you try to present and show a lot of positive things and get the positive juices going. I may be going, can't do this, can't do that. You can't stop your feet there. You can't just turn your back on that guy. You can't keep turning pucks over at the offensive blue line. We can't keep having our fourth line being the line that dominates in relation to the rest of the 3 lines in offensive zone time. We can't play this way because, again, I like the positive things and I want guys, but I think sometimes you have to scare them a little bit and say, we're playing a pretty good team. Regardless, and that team over there knows that they're better than what their record is too, meaning the Dallas Stars. Well, just because the other team has been 500, limping in, doesn't mean that that's how they're going to play. You have to expect them to play well too. So I might add or sprinkle in a little bit of this ain't going to cut it against this team.
Let's welcome in the 5th member of our team. Yeah, well, don't forget John. John's an integral part of the DLLS Stars show.
Standing up.
You're the 5th Beatle tonight, Sean.
Okay, there we go.
Welcome in from the confines of the Little Caesars Arena press area.
You name 4 Beatles.
Where are you right now?
I grabbed a spot in a suite because I didn't feel like going all the way up to the gondola.
Nice.
You have any pizza?
I had some before the game. I had some before the game. There's actually a bunch of empty pizza boxes right over here in this suite. So lots of pizza there. So I did hear a good nickname for this building I'd never heard before. It's called the Dojo. The Dojo, as in dough, like the.
I love that.
So this is. I'm using that one from now on. I had been trying to go arena in the past, but now we're going to call it the Dojo. So
I wonder if anyone called it the pizza oven or anything like that. No.
Pizza Hut.
Well, not the Pizza Hut. That's the pizza oven.
That doesn't work.
You can't just call it.
That might be conflicting.
Another brand.
Domino's.
That doesn't work. Sean, we've been talking so far about the dismay that everybody seems to be feeling towards this team.
Yep.
Winless in 6, losing 3 in a row. What's your take of what you saw tonight?
Tonight was a preseason game, and the Stars organizationally treated it like a preseason game. That goes all the way to the top. That's what Jim Nill effectively told me before the game, and yes, I used effectively there. Make fun of me, lads. I'm cool with it. The fact is, the Stars they put more value as an organization in not in saran wrapping and in bubble wrapping Thomas Harley and Essa Lindell, Sam Nestler style, than trying to win this hockey game. And that's what tonight was. So there's two things to talk about. Tonight's game was pointless. Like I don't really care what happened in tonight's game. I watched it. There's a lot of things wrong and a couple of things right. But the bigger discussion to have, and I don't know if you guys have had this yet, is it's about the decision they made. They made the decision that avoiding risk and safety for some guys was more important than trying to win the hockey game. And while they, yes, technically wanted to win the hockey game, as Pete said after the Utah game, they got out healthy. They got out healthy tonight. So when you want to kind of rip into this team or make everything else, we're gonna have a lot of judgment points to make on Saturday night when they either show up ready for Colorado or they don't. because that's what tonight was. Tonight has been all about Colorado is living there. They didn't care about the Red Wings. They didn't care about Utah on Saturday. And they're going to care a little bit more about Nashville because of a little bit of the eye-opener. But this team hasn't cared about these games. The organization has not cared about the final 3 games of the season. So we can judge that decision. And it also makes it very hard to judge this game. If I'm a player and I'm in a spot where my team is resting 2 of my best players, we're throwing together power play units that haven't played together all year, of course it's going to be sloppy. Of course it's going to be that way. And that, to me, goes all the way to the top. This is an organizational decision to treat this like preseason. So for better or worse, we'll see what happens Saturday, because that's the only thing I can take away from this one, because I have a hard time breaking down how a penalty kill did when there's no Esa Lindell, or how a power play did when you got a guy running the top who hasn't run it all year for your team. It's organizationally, from Jim Nill down, it was not worth trying to win these games at max value when you could put some bubble wrap on guys.
So what about the goaltending performance from Jake Ottinger? Is that more the same because of what the game was?
I mean, so Pete, after the game, Pete DeBoer said he thought Jake was their best player in the first period, which I can agree and disagree at the same time. I thought he had to be good. He could have been better, though, I don't think. And to me, I was originally hoping, from Stars' perspective, that Jake would come in and play this game, and all of a sudden you can be like, okay, we can play Casey DeSmith on Wednesday. I now think you need to play Jake on Wednesday because you need to get him some of that confidence going. His footwork looked really rough. His play tracking wasn't great. He got beat over the glove 3 times, I believe, or around the glove 3 times. These are all things that I want smoothed out on Wednesday against Nashville. And it's a little bit, I don't know what the way to say what's fair and what isn't to the goalie, but he's the one who takes a little bit more blemishes because the Stars have a second pair that's got Cody Ceci and Brendan Smith on it, and that's what the reality is in front of him. So I think those are some big things for me when it comes to the goalie spot.
Do you guys do you think, Sean, because of that Jake has to play on Wednesday?
I would play him Wednesday now. I would play him maybe the first period. I don't know if I'd play him the full game. I would maybe go and start him the first period. Have him and Jeff Reese sit down tomorrow, go over a couple things, get the footwork, get the play reading going, get a good clean 20 minutes, and then go to Casey DeSmith for the final 40. That's what I would do. And a lot of times Pete DeBoer will shoot down my stupid ideas. I mean, I have ideas that this team greatly disagrees with. Tyler Seguin today told me he told Robert Tiffin today that he heard that I mentioned he should go play in the AHL, and Tyler greatly disagreed with that. So people will tell me when my ideas are stupid, and that's fine. And so, but this is one where before the game, we talked about the potential of playing Ottinger in half a game or preseason type, and Pete admitted that that's something they've actually considered. So if they're going to hold to their word on it, I would do something like that. How do you get a kind of clean slate for Jake, and then kind of get him out of there before, and so Casey DeSmith can kind of get his last 40 of the season?
It's too bad the playoffs didn't start after Jake's overtime loss against Minnesota, because his 7 air games before that were all excellent, and he was locked in and looked good. And then now it's 2 not bad starts, but not up to his level. And now we just have to hope that he goes and plays 20 minutes solid in Nashville and feels good when he goes into game 1.
Yeah. So I have one more question for you, Sean, and then we have to get to our next break, which is I'm getting distracted. There are so many angry people on this chat right now. I should probably not be staring at it at the moment.
No.
They're all yelling at Owen.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't know what. Well, it's because Sam hasn't been around for the last couple of weeks, so he's not getting the ire of them.
Nice
The plumbing jokes will come back soon enough. Yeah, and Christian is telling you that you have great ideas. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
I completely lost what I was going to ask him. I have no clue. I was trying to stall and vamp.
I non-sequitured you.
You squirreled me, which is weird. Yes. That's it.
See me on morphine.
What was your take reaction from the Jamie Benn 400th goal again debacle?
I think it's hilarious. I can't help but have gallows humor about it. I was at the game in Boston when he scored 300, and Jamie to this day claims he didn't touch that puck. So if we're going to go off that, Jamie actually isn't even at 399. He's at 398 because John Klingberg scored that goal. So we can use that. The one thing I will take away from that is, so I'm in the press box sitting to the left of, about 4 seats to my left is Thomas Harley, Esa Lindell, and Tyler Seguin. and they're watching that happen. And one of them, I don't know which of the three, said, "No, he didn't." Like that was it was a moment where no one's upset at the kid for going hard to the net, but there is.
Don't worry, Sean. Somebody sitting upstairs said the identical words.
Some other
but I think I had another couple of adjectives in there.
He did.
Luds, the adjective was there. I'm just being kind so parties can remain anonymous as possible. And so there was a athlete frustration you could hear of. We're trying to do this for our captain, and this you can't do it. And Lian was available after the game. He spoke after the game. Mike Heika asked him about his goal, and you could see it's the most, and Robert Tiffin's here, and Robert was in. As Robert said, it's the most distraught he's seen Lian after a game. It's one of those where I'm not allowed to say that this is where I have to stop saying F, but you could tell he effed up. That's something where he did something that he scored a goal, and it's going to be the most regrettable goal of his career. And it's a very weird thing.
It's very weird.
It's a very, very weird thing because we're at a spot where this team has, historically speaking, built off. Like there's things that you work towards. And Jamie Benn having 400 is something this team wants to reward their captain with. It's something that I'm sure the Stars would have loved to be able to celebrate going in. No matter what happens, you would have had the nice picture with the puck and everything like that. And while no one is going to reprimand Lian for it on the flight or anything like that, I mean, he's going to have a long time to think about it because if the Stars go and activate Tyler Seguin for the game against Nashville, he's going to be sitting at home and not watching and not playing in that one. So no one needs to tell Lian what he did wrong based off his body language and all of that. You could tell. So it's going to be definitely a frustrating turn of events for some people upstairs, some people on the ice. Jamie won't say anything about it because that's who Jamie is, but I know it's something that his teammates wanted this for him tonight, and it's every 99.9% of the time he makes the right play. It's just it's that moment where no, he didn't.
Up next, your super chats and lots more fun and anger, I'm sure, here on the DLLS Stars Post Game Show.
First, let's talk about game time. Hockey playoffs are almost here. Best time of the year. There is nothing like watching hockey live, and I'll tell you right now, there is nothing like watching the NHL playoffs, the Stanley Cup playoffs live either. Game Time makes it easy. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite team live even easier. Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I will tell you that Katie has started to use Game Time. She used our code the first time, saved some money, and it has been very easy, very flawless, so I highly, highly suggest it. All-in pricing, so you toggle the feature, shows the total up front, no surprise fees, makes everything really simple. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Owen, what time is it?
It's game time.
That's what I'm talking about.
See enthusiasm? There. By the way, Luz never fails on that. He always delivers.
I thought you were going to go to our producer.
Thinking about I was running low.
Oh,
Let's talk about Shady Rays. It is the best as far as getting high quality shades at a reasonable price. Get ready for the season ahead with those quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. If your shades go lost, missing, take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements, and you can always exchange or return them worry-free within 30 days. Great customer service. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. All right, Sean, this is a potpourri here because it's super chat time, so feel free to chime in as you always do, and we will as well. John, let's tee us off as we get started for super chat time, which I would imagine will be measured, calm, and full of logic and reason.
Bing bang.
Get ready, boys.
All right, we're going to start with Cam. And there's no way I can read that as it's minimized. It'll get bigger in a minute, maybe, or maybe not.
Heyo.
John's going to help us. There we go. See, they can't see that they're stretching it on the monitor. All right.
I can't read it on the
Cam
screen
wrote
no
in
matter what.
a Lundqvist and a Lindell. Does Dallas really think they can just flip a switch and be all on the same page when the playoffs start? I'd love to hear Lud's point of view.
Do we want to just replay everything I just got done
You
saying?
can say it again. Well, Sean
No.
wasn't on when we said that, so you could tell him.
No, I believe they do. Obviously they do. It sounds like the coaches think the same thing. I don't think it's that easy. I think because some of the things that they're doing in these last 5, 6, 7 games, they were doing earlier too. So I said, if anything, they need to take the Nashville game, and now they're going to play 8 games in this series instead of 7, and they have to start the playoffs on Wednesday night. That's what I think they have to do, and I do believe that they think they can just flip a switch, and I would try to remind them with a few of the plays tonight that you better start right here and flip this the other direction, or flip it with some coverage, or make a save, because it's not going to be good enough against a team that's way better than this team that they played tonight.
We kind of glossed over this, Luds. I don't know if we wanted to hit on this at all, especially with Sean here before he leaves.
Yeah, well, this is one of the goals that Dadonov is defending, and you can see when I thought originally that, like, how does this goal go in? Because when you look at it, did a stick get on it? Was there a stick on it? I think Jake on this goal has a clear view of the shot. I don't think it had anything to do with hitting a stick, and it's not like a sneaky play anymore. If you shoot between a player's feet and his stick, it happens all the time, and it just beats Jake over the glove hand. Now, there was another one tonight that was a little bit different. I thought it was another goal that went in, and here's this one. To me, this is all coverage, and this is Petrovic here. He has his eyes on the player that has the puck, and you can see DeBrincat coming in here all teed up, doesn't have a clue where he is, and this is a pass where Jake stays on this. I think Jake stays on the puck as long as he has to, because he can't tell if he's going to release it or not, but by the time he gets in, it's a pretty good shooter. I mean, DeBrincat's known for being able to let these pucks go, and this was a great shot. And as he lets it go, though, at the last second, now Petrovic and John found this, and you can see where he did get his stick across. It hits the blade of his stick, and it changes directions on him. Now, I have a hard time sometimes, Sean, and I know you see it because you watch everything.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of when goals go in on goaltenders and they seem to stare a little bit longer at someone on their team because they didn't make the right play. Now, and even if it is a play like this, that it hits the stick, because we're just trying to do everything to help you out. You know what I mean? But I think in times when things aren't going well, maybe it's just a natural reaction after things start to pile up a little bit. I don't know if you notice that.
No, the body language is interesting, because like one of the spots about I don't know if this is a habit that Jake learned from Ben Bishop, because this is a Ben Bishop thing where Ben Bishop was a great goaltender, but there was a lot of times where you'd see something and Ben would be kind of looking around for the culprit. To me, from a goaltending perspective, whether it's your fault or not, it's the easiest thing to do is, that's on me, I'll get the next one. And you just move on. And then, because the defenseman knows when he makes the mistake, right? If a goal happened that was your fault, you didn't need Eddie to tell you that it was your mistake. You knew, right? And that's where you just kind of move on. So to me, the first one that's shot, the one that where it's the defending is not the one you showed on the pass with Petrovic, but the one with the right there. Yes, thank you, John. This one is a save that Jake needs to make, because we talk about everything focusing on Colorado. Which player shoots through the triangle? And I'm talking about that triangle. Go back one more, John. The triangle. We're talking between the legs and the stick right there. No one shoots between the triangle more than Nathan MacKinnon in the league.
And against the green.
Yes. So that is a save that Jake needs to make. And that is the type of shot he's going to face, and you need to make that save. So I look at it that way. To go back to the super chat too, just on when we're talking about the organization, do the Stars think they can flip the switch? 100%. Jim Nill and Pete DeBoer both spoke to me today, where they said, we're going to be judged by this decision. If we go and win this series, we'll look like geniuses. If we lose in 4 or 5, it's our fault. The Stars have consciously made this decision to prioritize health and not risking another injury for the playoffs over playing crisp, clean hockey against the Detroit Red Wings and Nashville Predators. Now, they will go back to a full lineup on Wednesday. Wednesday night, the plan is to try and get as close to a playoff Game 1 lineup as possible on Wednesday. So they will try to go to that. But this is, they believe the switch can be flipped. They are planning that. They feel like this is a necessary evil after what the season has been and the Four Nations travel and everything like that. Everyone talks all about all of that stuff. And so that's, to me, the Stars believe that. Whether they're right or wrong, we're all going to find out Saturday night.
I just want to point out one thing, John. Will you go to that second look where it hits the blade? Not that one. Okay, different goal. Go to the goal before.
Dadonov.
Go to the goal before where Rupe Hintz was out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to the next look right now. Okay. I just want everybody to pay attention to the left of Jake. That's Rupe Hintz, number 24. And who I want to pay the most attention to, that play, is the defenseman for the Dallas Stars. That's how you seal a guy out. That's how you give Jake a sight line right there. You don't allow them to just skate to the front of the net and then decide to take him. Rupe Hintz here is doing everything that I want the defenseman for the Dallas Stars to do a little bit more often.
Engaging before he gets
That's
to
what you should
the
be
middle of the
pointing to,
crease.
right? The Stars center.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to the next one. We don't have Sean for much longer. We'll go.
And you know
more-
what didn't happen on that they're always worried about? Is getting an interference call. That's what they say. I don't want to get an interference call. You're not getting an interference call unless you take the guy down,
You have
time
to
up,
tackle
especially
him.
in the playoffs. You'll get away with a little bit more.
Stars fecal tornado with a Lundqvist and a Ludwig. I didn't watch the game. How did we do? Cute. Okay, next one. Thank you for
Sam's
that.
burner.
Bing bang. Sam's burner.
Did you actually
Christian
not
with
watch it?
a Heiskanen 99. We gave up a lot and to add Rantanen. Were they really no D-men we could have gone after instead? Pending free agents or not, defense was a need. 96 a nice want. Do you agree with that, Sean?
Name me the defenseman they could have got that replaces Miro Heiskanen.
You can't replace Miro Heiskanen.
Nobody. They
without-
could-
Exactly.
You
they
can't
could-
go get
Exactly.
Cale McCaw.
Yeah, they could have upgraded, but defensemen cost a lot on this trade deadline, and they chose to get a much better player for a long term than get a B to B minus level defenseman to maybe make their third pair better.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is I don't think those two things are completely related. They went and got Cody Ceci right after Miro got hurt. Sorry, right after Miro got hurt. So that's not the Rantanen deal doesn't stop them from making another defenseman trade. I think the two things could have been done. But I will go back to say this. With so many teams were still in the hunt at that time, like this Detroit team, right? We talk about them, a team that's being out. They were still in the hunt then. Montreal was out of the hunt then, and now Montreal is going to be in the playoffs, right? The trade deadline then, so many teams were so far into the hunt still. Where what defenseman could you have gotten? I understand in a perfect world you'd love to be able to go pull an Adam Fox out of New York. You're like, oh yeah, let's go grab Adam Fox. Let's go get him. That's not happening. I don't see which defenseman they could have got. I understand the sentiment, but this isn't a video game world where I can go and just pick the defenseman I want to play for this team. They just weren't available. So you have to make do with what you've got. And the Stars made their bed by signing Matt Dumba before the season. They made moves like this that they have to live with. So the in-season move of upgrading a slightly better version of Matt Dumba, I don't see what that would have done. So
Yep.
Hey, Luds, I've heard a lot of people bemoaning the fact that Nils Lundqvist was out for the season and that they really miss not having him. Is that a fair sentiment?
Yeah, but we saw as the season went along when we thought Nils had his game together because they had the conversation that we were surprised at times he was coming out of the lineup, right? And I don't know what the reason was. Maybe it was just to get players in there and keep them, kind of into the game rhythm things. But would Pete trust him in the
Now,
playoffs?
right.
Like, now than what happened to him last year. And, I just want to say, and I don't disagree with what Sean said, and I'll keep it short. When I was done, I went to GM. I went with all the scouts and things to Toronto at Bob Gainey's house and going over scouting and stuff like that. And it was about the draft, and they were talking about what players and things. I'm sitting in the back of the room, I'm not saying a word. I'm just sitting back there, And I just raised my hand once and I said, so why are you taking that guy? And the answer was, it's the best player available. Very, very similar to what Sean said. It's best player available. And I said, okay, I sat down. They went on for a few more minutes, and all of a sudden Gainey stops like he always does. And he goes, Luds, why'd you ask that? And I just said, well, in my opinion, I said, Darian Hatcher has a bad knee right now. Why aren't we, sorry, it was Matty. And I said, Matt Tkachuk has a bad knee right now. Why aren't we looking for the next Matt Tkachuk? Because we love how we play our system and all that kind of stuff. To unplug one and then be able to plug another one in.
Right.
And I don't think there was a right or wrong answer, but I think the things have changed. You do take the best player available. But I kind of agree with what they say is like, why didn't we? Now, Mikko Rantanen was easily, I don't know how you pass on that guy. Yep. I mean, if that guy's available and you get him in with what you want, and did you know at the time that Miro was going to be back, was going to be out for a long time, all those kind of things, and you have Rantanen now for another 8 years. So, I mean, the only problem is that window that we say has been open for the last 3-4 years, hopefully it's open. If you don't win it this year, it's open next year or the year after.
Sean, any final thoughts before we say goodnight to you and see you on Friday after the regular season ends?
Yeah, to me, it's everything can be judged in game one. What their approach, and this doesn't fall on the players. It doesn't fall, to me, this goes back to management and the coaching staff. They are the ones that decided. The players and the coaches were part of the team that lost to Winnipeg. Once they lost to Winnipeg and the chance of winning the Central went out the window, they decided this was the path. And so we can judge that path on Saturday. And so this is where these are fair questions. The fair question will be to ask, we see them in game one. If all of a sudden they come out looking great and they're flying, hey, they made the right choice. If they look like utter horse manure, well, they made the wrong decision. So we get to judge them on Saturday for this. It doesn't matter what they do tomorrow. Like, we can hope that Wednesday is a tune-up. We can hope they treat it like game -1 of the playoffs or whatever. But everything, if you're going to go and say everything is about Saturday, you better make sure everything is about Saturday. And so that's where I'll leave it at.
Well, Sean, it's always nice to see you. We appreciate you chiming in from Detroit as the Shapiro Bowl ends with a bit of a Stars whimper. But we'll talk to you on our Friday show when we know probably a playoff schedule. So thanks, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, up next, lightning round of Super Chats here on DLLS. All right, but first, let's talk about being a diehard. New offer up tonight for the next 36 hours. The NFL draft is on its way very, very soon. I think it's next week, right? Are we a week away? Is it this Thursday? Next Thursday, right. So a week from this Thursday, right? Right. So a little more than a week away. $36 for the next 36 hours as we approach the draft. Become a diehard. Everything you would possibly want here on DLS. All the access to the writing for all the Cowboys, the Mavs, the Stars, of course, the Rangers. Plus, for that discount, you can also get a free T-shirt. And, mention T-shirt. You have one like this. You have one like Sam's. We have new T-shirts dropping tonight.
Hey-o.
The Captain with 2 N's. Just unveiled for pre-order today. If you sign up to be a diehard, you can select that one as your one free T-shirt from DLS. Or if you're already a diehard member, you can go onto our website and buy it today. If you're a diehard, you get 20% off merch. There's also another T-shirt drop, and it's the Rantanen Moose shirt, which is now available on alldlls.com. It is a great option. We also have our Finnish Mafia shirt, which I really like. The Rangers just dropped a couple T-shirts recently. So lots of T-shirt options. We got writing from Sam, from Sean, and everybody else. We've got the Discord. And speaking of the Discord, I would like to take one final opportunity. We mentioned it the other day to show the standings for our diehard-only Discord channel. You might have to zoom a little bit on your screen, but this is the final standings of the bracket for our DLS NCAA Frozen 4 Challenge. Congratulations to Tyler Hayden King. Finished first because he picked Western Michigan. Luds had it right the whole way.
Did I come in dead last?
Not dead last.
All right. My 2 champions lost the first round.
But you were not in the top 10.
No, I wasn't even close.
This is the lightning round of the Super Chat because we wanted to have some time to chat with Sean. Now we can go Sam's got the dunce helmet on. Let's get it started.
Hit me with your super chats.
Bing bong.
All right. The first one up is Stars 25 Cup year, or maybe not, according to the new change in the avatar. A DeSmith 99. Thank God Otter got some confidence for the playoffs. That sounds like sarcasm.
Is that
I think that entire thing is sarcasm. Name,
maybe not?
chat,
Maybe not. Next
all of
one.
it.
Bing bong.
Jordan. Talk hockey with me. I sat with Jordan and chatted with her at our COSM event last month. Heiskanen 99. Call me crazy, but I still think this team is going to be fine. Considering their only goal right now is to stay healthy, I think they're nailing it.
Okay, crazy.
You called her crazy.
Yeah.
She did ask for it. Jordan, I'm with you. I'm not ready to get negative until I start seeing them lose playoff games. And then we'll see. But anything can happen in the playoffs. Next.
Bing bong.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
gotta throw
A
it
DeSmith 99 Cup year from our Stars 25 Cup year, maybe not. Jake couldn't stop a beach ball tonight.
Well, I think that's a little harsh. I think he made some saves. It's just the ones that, like Sean was talking about, there's certain ones that when you're in the playoffs, you need to make those saves.
Yep.
Make the ones that you have to.
And he knows it too.
Yeah.
Next one.
Bing bong.
Colin Thee. Sure. With a Madonna 99 Cup year, this team has made a habit of blowing third period leads and expects to flip a switch in game one. How do we go from one of the best third period shutdown teams to puking on ourselves in the third every night? It's interesting that gets brought up, guys, because counting tonight, I'm just double checking to make sure that my math isn't wrong on this one. The Stars gave up 4 third period goals. They scored 1. So coming into tonight's, they had a 96 to 76. Sorry, excuse me. I'm going to say it again. 96 to 73 edge in third period scoring. Now you add 1, so it's 97 to 77. It's still plus 20, but Sam, as you mentioned the stat earlier, that goal differential has really narrowed in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's flipped. If you just look at that gap, it's just basically flipped to what the season's been. So, as we said with everything else, worrisome, but until it starts happening in a playoff game, we will remain calm and carry on.
It's letting it slide for too long and not addressing it.
Yeah.
And again, we don't know everything that's said. I mean, there could be something said in the room that we don't know about. But to me, I just think you just kind of sweep over it and we're going to get better. And unfortunately, it starts to snowball. And then, I don't want to be sitting here and then have something happen in the first round, second, third, whatever thing. We needed to tighten things up earlier. That's what you don't want to hear.
Yeah, you don't want to hear the regrets.
Yep.
By the way, the chat's loving the helmet.
Thank you.
Let's go to the next one.
Bing
Lard's
bong.
got it.
Cam with a Lundqvist and Lindell. Stars are looking like the 2016 Cowboys. Talent to win it all. One and done. I hope I'm proven wrong. Yeah,
So do we.
we all do. Next one.
Bing bong.
Stars 25 Cup year, maybe not. Super chat with a Madonna 99. No hate to Otter. He's been one of the sole bright spots the last few weeks, but he hasn't looked this bad since the week after Four Nations. Hopefully he can lock back in before Saturday.
Do it. Right here on the
Right on
helmet.
the
On the
helmet.
helmet.
See if you can get. You've never gotten it this far yet, so just
No, it's
worry
because
about
the
it.
light stanchion does not.
Give it to me.
That's not a bad effort. You dropped it
I
on
was-
the table.
I lost it in the light, and I was so scared that was going to hit me right in the face.
Well,
It
that's why you
would.
have a helmet on.
Wearing that, you look like
What?
you would be
Instead of hitting me
you
here.
would be afraid.
Instead of hitting me here, it would hit me in the nose. And
Not so much
He
here.
would
Poke my eye out or
definitely-
something.
If any of the three of us, is
Yeah,
gonna
and you
get
know what?
hit in the
He
face,
might be back in the ICU if that would have
Yeah.
hit you.
He
Yeah.
would definitely be on the IR for the next few weeks.
That happens.
All right, let's go to the
Bing
next one.
bong.
Lutz, can you throw that back to me? I have to throw it again.
Marshall's second with
on
a
the
Heiskanen
bobbleheads.
99 for the smallest modicum of positivity. At least I didn't miss Ben's 400th goal since ESPN Plus didn't show the game tonight. Here's for Wednesday.
Fair enough. You kind of missed it.
That wasn't a bad throw, Luds. So it was disappointing. We talked about it with Sean before, but how important, if you had to rate it out, is Jamie Benn scoring 400 on Wednesday after what happened the last two games?
You mean if he doesn't score?
No, I mean, do you think it's a big deal to get that out of the way before the playoffs? Now that we've seen what's happened the last two games.
No.
Still no.
Jamie's more concerned about winning a cup. Normally, he's more concerned about the team winning a Stanley Cup. He will sacrifice $399 and a little tip in by somebody else to have it drawn back from him $400 to just get to the finals. Because once you get there, you got a chance. So, yeah, and again, if something happens that they don't get past the first round, I still don't think that's going to bother Jamie Benn. He's coming back. He's going to get his 400. He might get it Wednesday night, as a matter of fact.
He very well might.
From Tyler Seguin, assisted by Tyler Seguin.
What, from Dallas, or was Tyler making the trip?
He's there.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, is he playing?
Oh, that's
Do you
right.
have that on?
I don't have it on.
Bing bong.
Confirmed.
Cam with a Brendan Smith, and you're after the cup. Hat trick, Pavelski.
Nice.
Thank you, Cam.
Double. Oh, boy.
It's getting worse.
That one did make it on
I
camera.
didn't really care to aim that one.
That's all right. Let's go to the next one.
That's how I feel when I go to the bathroom.
Bing bong.
Stars 25 Cup here, maybe not, with
Another
a
one.
Madonna 99. Breaking news, Dallas Stars signed never heard of center from Plover, Wisconsin, Po Javelski. My sources tell me he's a stud with a hand-eye coordination of a surgeon ninja. Sounds promising. I've never heard of a surgeon ninja, but yeah, I mean,
I love it.
look, Joe's not coming back to play this year. It's a fun fantasy daydream, but he's enjoying retirement and knew it was time.
You know what, though? It wouldn't hurt to have him in the room and
That's
maybe have a
very
little
true.
heart-to-heart with the boys.
Bing bong.
Matthew with a Heiskanen 99. Since the Four Nations, the Stars have played 26 games and have been outshot in 23 of them with an average of 24.9 to 33.3 for and against in the 26 games. Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. Not necessarily those exact numbers, but that they have been negative shot differential. To me, the negative scoring chances is worse because you can shoot from center ice and it counts as a shot on goal, but it's not something you worry about. Yeah, I know. I complain about that during watching games. But they have been on the wrong side of that number a lot in the last 2 months.
The underlying part of that is territorial time.
Yep.
In my opinion, they look for the perfect play sometimes, and a lot of times it's on entries. And they end up spending, some of that has to do with trying to make that pass at the offensive blue line that, it's tight. You're not going to do it. Maybe you just got to go in, work to get it back sometimes. And I think they want to be puck control all the time where maybe they can, go in, spend more time down there. And ultimately what happens is you spend more time in your own end, where we know there can be missed assignments, we'll say.
Let's go to the
Bing
next one.
bong.
Stars 25 Cup here, who's
Plus on that.
dominating the chat tonight with a Heiskanen 99. Definitely not saying it needs to happen, just pointing it out. But a Star hasn't got a puck to the face in a minute. Coincidence? I think not. That is an very
omen.
morbid reverse jinx attempt.
Yeah.
Well, but you could be saying we're not really trying to take any pucks away from them. We're not in areas where we can knock pucks down. So maybe that's where he's coming from, and I don't disagree.
Bing bong.
He
All
loves
right,
making it in
Ardell with
hockey.
a Bichsel and a Pavelski because he wants the ding. A 5-forward power play is a disaster waiting to happen. I don't want to see that ever in the playoffs. Also, Stars in 6. The Avs aren't the 85 Bears.
I don't think we'll see it.
Sam, 5 forwards?
No.
Power play?
They tried it. He admitted that they were looking at it, but it worked once.
I mean, Thomas Harley's going to quarterback the power play,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I believe in the playoffs, Thomas Harley will quarterback the power play for 1 minute and 45 seconds. At least.
and don't think that then they're going to roll out 5 forwards
No,
out there at the
never
end
on
of
the
a power
second.
play, because as I'm hoping most of you know, if the puck ends up 5-on-5 and it ends up in your own zone, next thing you know, you got 5 forwards back there. Although sometimes
They play man-on-man anyway.
Sometimes it seems like there is 5 forwards back there.
Hey-o.
That, I believe, John, is our last super chat.
That is it.
All right. Check out the Die Hard discount, $36 for the next 36 hours. Sign up today. Our next show is Wednesday. We're off tomorrow. Pre-game shows at 6:30 Central Time.
Last game.
Stars against the Nashville Predators. And then it really matters. Game 82, then the playoffs.
82.
For Luds, for Sean, for Sam, for his helmet, for John, I'm Owen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday night for Stars and Preds. Good night.
Not quite. 30 more seconds.
Oh, we had it all timed out.
We
We
didn't
got
hit.
T-shirts. Look at our T-shirts.
We didn't
How
hit the
about these?
time. We were short.
Well,
That's
I wrapped
incredible.
it up because I thought it was 59.
Well,
That's
there's the
incredible.
shirt.
Luds, what are you going to eat when you get home?
I'm gonna have a bowl of Raisin Bran and some 2% milk.
You're not going to fire up that Lunchable that's been in there since November.
Oh.
I'm saving that for the ride along
for
on
the
Wednesday.
playoffs.
Did you tell them we got a ride along on Wednesday?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
Do we have a ride along, John, on Wednesday?
Aren't we
do.
doing a ride along Wednesday?
We're doing a watch.
We all silly like the mayor.